Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Saturn conjunct one's natal south node. And the thing about this transit, I should say, when you're talking about transits that involve Saturn, it could be about restrictions, limitations, structure, discipline, responsibilities, laborious work and efforts. When we're talking about transit Saturn conjoining one's natal south node, well, this could be about restrictions, structure, discipline, responsibility, laborious work. It could be in what we're leaving behind, what we're going away from, and focusing, of course, on the opposite point, which would be the north node. Uh, this is something too where we might feel a responsibility to go away from certain things that might be negative that are connected with the south node placement. If it's in Taurus, it could be some greedy or avaricious nature, or something where there's really strong obsession on one's own possessions and resources. It could be a thing too where it could also be South Node in astrology can reflect overdeveloped and redundant qualities. So it might be something too where there might be a feeling of trying to a feeling but really wanting to go away from them at this time, or it might Saturn is about laborious efforts. So it might be where it might be more of an arduous task at this time um, trying to get away from that energy. But at the same time, it might be causing more difficulties than that, whatever your characteristics, whatever south node placement you have. There may be more difficulties that you may be dealing with in connection with that placement. And the thing of, because Saturn could be about difficulties, of course, and this is something too. South Node is connected to the past, and it might be a time where, since Saturn again is about difficulties, it could be something where something connected with the past may be causing more problems for you. Say if it's in the seventh house, it could be an open adversary. Some of you may believe in the past life, and South Node energy can be associated with this. It could be some Saturn related coming, connecting with you from a past life, if that is what you do believe. Some people believe in past lives, other people don't. It could be like a mentor or a teacher or somebody involved in prominent mathematics, or an older person. You know, um, Somebody maybe reconnecting with you from that time. And also, the South Node is associated with what we're naturally proficient in. It's not all bad, because they are, overdeveloped qualities, but it could be something that we can naturally do well in. Sometimes this could manifest in a concentration, because Saturn is about concentration, and concentrating on something that's associated with what we're naturally good and what we're naturally proficient in. Going back to zodiac sign Taurus, it could be in generating income. It could have to do with formulation of very good financial plans. Could be money making endeavors. Um, it may be something too where you're looking at this place in the south node can also be what might affect you to your detriment. And this could be something where those things might be causing more despondency or sorrow or sadness, because Saturn is connected uh, with those things. Say if you have the South Node in Aries, it could be maybe overly impulsive or impetuous behavior, being overly aggressive, trying to get that first in line kind of thing might be working more to your detriment, being seen as overly pushy, as an example. Uh, it could be something too I mean, as far as another way, this could manifest and pan out. This could also be about some cases of father, an older person, which could include a grandparent. Might be more prominent in things that you naturally flourish in, that you are, again, the South Node could be connected what we're naturally proficient. Now, let's say, for example, if this falls in Virgo in the fifth house, it could be something connected with analytical or intellectual amusement or enjoyment. Could be extrapolating sports data. Virgo can be about, as far as like extrapolating, projecting data. And the fifth house, of course, is associated with sports. But in some cases, on the negative side, this could also manifest in maybe exacerbating hypochondriac tendencies. Maybe, for example, a father or an older person, even a mentor, even like a grandparent is an older person. So maybe they're doing things that might influence, greater hypochondriac tendencies. I could say germophobic tendencies, but I don't know if that's actually applies, if that's the word to describe what I'm saying, but it's not. But you understand what I mean, that germophobic may not really be used anymore, but somebody that takes excessive precautions regarding germs. And anyway, and the thing about this too, keep in mind that we're looking at this as well, and going back to uh, the Virgo, the transit hits Virgo in the fifth house again as an example. It could be about something with tendencies. It could be some negative tendencies with love, such as being overly critical or judgmental of a lover, and it might lead be more to your detriment more so than usual at this time, because again, Saturn can be connected with sorrow and basically, despondency, feeling melancholy. And the thing about this too, on a positive note though, this could also manifest in laborious efforts, maybe coming to an end, a conclusion, or a culmination at this time. Say, for example, this is an Aquarius in your 12th house in your chart. It could be perhaps some altruistic or selfless efforts, which is Aquarius. For the less fortunate, which is the 12th house, might be coming to an end. It may be something too where you might be more responsible for adverse or negative behavior that is associated with the South Node placement. Now, let's say, for example, this is in Gemini. It could be something with forgery or plagiarism, maybe lying and prevarication, gossiping. Remember that Saturn could be very karmic as well, so if there's something really negative that you've done, and especially if it's something illegal that's associated with the South Node placement, this could be the time where you may be facing some repercussions and consequences for those actions at this time. And Saturn is also about authority, and authority figures can include the law. Now, if it's in the fifth house, what I stated before about, if it's in Gemini, if it's something with forgery or plagiarism or prevarication, gossiping, it may have been something that you simply took a lot of pride in and enjoyed because you're talking about the fifth house, if that's where it falls in Gemini in the fifth house as an example. Now, another thing too is that in some isolated cases, sadly, this could manifest in a father or an older person, could be a grandparent, may pass away at this time, because remember that Saturn can represent older people. It could also represent the father. It could be a grandparent. And the South Node is what we're going away from. And it could also be the Saturn person from your past may return enter your life. You may rekindle a connection with that person. It could be somebody, a politician you might have known, an older person, father. It might be a mentor. It could be somebody like in dentistry or accounting, or some Saturn-like profession. Now, another way this can manifest as well, this could also be about a chronic debilitation, which could go either way, I would say. it could either be maybe being alleviated. I would say more when it's making the separating conjunction aspect from the south node, uh, or it could actually affect you more to your detriment because the south node can be connected with what's with, some negative energy associated with what it's contacting. Not just the sign that's in, but if a planet is contacting it, it may affect that energy negatively. And the Saturn, of course, could be associated with chronic debilitations. If this is something like, say, for example, say if this is in Scorpio, it might be something with the bladder or the colon or the prostate. It could be something with the reproductive system or pelvic area. Some in Taurus, it might be something associated with the throat or the neck or the thyroid. And another thing too, remember that Saturn is associated, can be associated with the career. So it might be where you might be a time where you may be leaving one career and you might be transitioning into another. Say if this is in Aquarius as an example, and maybe something astronomy or astrology, uh, could be aerospace, even rocket science in some cases, something with computers, electronics, innovation that may be leaving at this time. And Saturn South Node contexts are not always going to be negative, because when you have Saturn hitting the South Node, it can reflect what's going away, things that might have been difficult. It could have been a responsibility that you had taken on that was requiring very arduous, laborious efforts, and it's finally perhaps leaving you and going away, and it could free you up a little bit to relax a little bit more. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.